I'm going to then start by cooking the tofu for one of the stir fries that I'm making. I'm going to cook it in a little bit of tamari, a little bit of sunflower oil. I would normally use sesame oil. It's a very common allergen, however, so I'm refraining from using it here today, but it would add a lovely flavor. This is toasted sesame oil, which is widely available in shops like the Asian market. Even Dunn stores carry a few brands of it, Tesco's and so on. But with the tamari and everything, I'm going to add some ginger and some garlic. It's very hard for me to tell how much ginger you like in your food or how much garlic you like in your food. And with garlic, personally, I like enough that it keeps the vampires away. So it's very hard to, if the amount of garlic I like might not be the amount that you like, and it's very hard for me. I can't. It's the same with chili. That's why I'm not putting any chili into this today, because a lot of people don't like it. But otherwise, of course, you chop up some red chili. I'm also going to add a little bit of sweetener. You could use regular sugar. However, I am using an apple juice, a concentrated apple juice, which adds fructose instead of sucrose, which is easier to digest, better GI. And that's why I'm using that. And it's very simple. And then a bit of tamari, which is a wheat and gluten-free soy sauce. It's usually recognized in the shop that it's the one that's twice as expensive as the normal soy sauce, to find it in an easy way. And a splash of oil. And a dash of apple juice, concentrated apple juice. And then that's the marinade for the tofu is ready. Now, if you would have the time, you can preparing your next day's dinner at home the day before. You can, of course, you'd marinate this the day before. It will get more of a flavor. And it's still, I would recommend to cook it in the sauce that it's marinated in, because it will make it even tastier. Well, I'm pretty much ready with the tofu here. The wet mix for the apple cake is gonna be ready. And I'm just gonna get this into the oven, and we're gonna turn back to the apple cake. That is the tofu ready to go into the oven. You can see that it has already soaked up a lot of the marinade. You can see it's changing color already. And then this is just going to cook for about 10 minutes to cook the flavors into the tofu. Very simple, in the oven. You could also, with this at home, use coconut oil, which is a very good fat. Since it's a nut oil, I'm not using it right now, today, because then less of you could probably sample it. I'm going to start preparing more of the main course that I am making here today. I have chosen a stir fry because I think it's an easy way with people with different dietary concerns in a family. This is the easy way of making it. I came at this out of a talk I did in Cornucopia about family cooking, and I'm not a vegetarian. People find it very funny that I work in a vegetarian restaurant as not being a vegetarian. However, my wife is. So at home, my children are, when they decide that they don't want something, they're a vegetarian, and the next day when the sausages are cooking, they're not vegetarian anymore. However, this is a very easy dish to make. So if you make a stir fry, if someone really says, "Oh, well, I won't be full if there's no meat," well, then you can fry off a meat protein on the side, put it on a different plate, and the people who want to have some of that pick on that. That's why I've chosen this. I think it's a very easy, and it's also one of the reasons is that no one has enough time when it comes to home life. We have less and less time compared to what we want to have. So this is, for me, it's a very quick and easy dinner to make. I can have it ready in about 20 minutes at home when I don't have an audience making me nervous. So I'm just slicing mushrooms. Today I'm also going to use two different types of noodles. I have one which is brown rice and buckwheat noodle, which is gluten-free. I am also going to have a packet of rice noodles here, which I am not going to use today, because my thing was a little bit poorly timed yesterday and I ran over and infringed on somebody else's demonstration time. But the other noodle I'm going to use, since I personally don't like getting my carbohydrates mainly from starchy food, I like getting it more from vegetables instead. It's a very easy way of making courgette noodles from a courgette with a julienne peeler, which I have one with me, and I will show you how this is made. It's very simple, takes a couple of minutes, and you've made something that looks like noodles, but it isn't noodles. Therefore, it's a vegetable, so it's naturally gluten-free, wheat-free, nut-free, and so on. And very simple. Can even be eaten raw in a salad with a dash of lemon if you enjoy it. You can call it a courgette spaghetti salad. It's very tasty. So we're going to start with this. The reason why I haven't actually prepared the vegetables is because I was thinking that it would be good for everyone to see how quick it can actually be made. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing it in front of you, as you can see. Also, when it comes to the proteins with stir fries, you don't have to limit yourself to one. Common in say Chinese cuisine is that you have meat, tofu, and eggs in the same, and it's very good to if you can, for different reasons. I mean, some people can't eat soy, but if you can vary your consumption of different proteins a little bit more, different amino acids and so on in different proteins that will all benefit you to the better in the long term. So at home I would often use even. If I'm in an extreme rush, I will even use frozen corn products, which is a vegetarian protein, combined with eggs often. Now, of course, something I forgot to put on was a pot of water for blanching the green vegetables. So Paul's going to do that for me here. And for green vegetables, I've said broccoli, which is in the handout I got. Now, again, as I said, I bought everything in supermarkets just to make sure that it is available. So they had this lovely baby vegetable broccoli, which I just think looks nicer in a stir fry. I have green beans. So the green vegetable, normally with a stir fry, the trick is to cut everything into the size so that when you fry it, it will all be finished at the same time. And you shouldn't have to pre-cook anything. Now, when it comes to green vegetables, I would anyway, because they get greener, they look nicer, and also they're a little bit easier to digest if they're cooked just quickly in water, a minute. I'm not salting this water, which as I would if I was just blanching the vegetables to have on the side of any other dinner. That's because Tamari, this is a soy sauce product, contains quite a large amount of salt, and I don't need to over-salt anything. Because if you put in too much salt, you can't take it out. If you put less in and if someone really wants more salt on their food, well, then they salt on the table. That's very simple, I think. So I'm going to continue with the garlic, which is for the first stir fry here. And again, I'm only putting 1 clove in. Had this been at home for myself and my family, I'll probably put 4 or 5 in, but we're well known to be, we don't like vampires, so we try to keep them away. So while we're waiting for that, my water is boiling here now. Shortly, I am going to prepare the green veg. I'm just going to prepare these courgette noodles real quick, which is the only thing. So what I have here is a julienne peeler. It's like a normal peeler, but it has teeth on one side. So when I cut with this on the side, it will come out in long strips. And if you were customers of Cornucopia, you might remember we made a raw pasta salad, pasta dish, which was made from courgette noodles, or courgette pasta. It's advisable not to go too far into the courgette when you're doing this because they're quite soft in the middle and they will just fall apart as you cook them. It won't harm the flavors or anything like that, but it won't look as nice, and that's what I'm trying to impress you all with, is that the food is going to look nice as well as tasting nice when we're done. So this is very simple, and then that's ready. So since the water is boiling here, I am now going to blanch this green vegetable in boiling water. No salt, as I said, because we're adding that to the stir-fry finished product later. And it only takes literally a minute. Then when this is done, it's going to be refreshed in cold water. And that's just to stop the cooking process so that you're protecting yourself from overcooking the vegetables, because we've all had enough of overcooked broccoli, overcooked green vegetables, which otherwise taste lovely, but have been ruined in a pot by cooking for too long. Thank you. So as Paul here as he's been in this business for a while as well, he knows you fill up the cold water first before you drain this, and it will stop the cooking faster. And then it usually takes a couple of washes for it to cool down enough to stop the cooking process. And that is that pretty much ready. I'm going to go in and have another look at this cake here again in a couple of minutes. And just let it drain well so that you don't add water to the stir-fry later, because then you will be steaming the vegetables instead of stir-frying them, and that would kind of defeat the purpose. But a splash of water, a drop of water is going to come with it in, and it's inevitable. You can always drain this again right before you go to use it. Then I'm going to prepare some red pepper. I've chosen red peppers for this just because I like the color of them. Some people find them a little bit too sweet. Well, in that case, by all means, use green peppers. But if you want to use orange peppers or whatever that you do like, you use. I just cut them very simple, 4 panels off the top, because it's going to make it very easy to slice them thinly, or julienne them, as I would say, into a good shape for the stir fry. Someone asked yesterday why I didn't put onion in this. Well, first of all, in Cornucopia, one of the most common questions we get is there any onion in that? And most of vegetarian food will contain onion and garlic because for flavoring reasons. So I'm choosing not to. I think in a stir fry, if you have enough other vegetables, you don't need the onion. They're very good to stretch it if you're having an extra person or whatever, you know. And money can be tight at the end of the month and so on. But here I don't think we need it. Instead, I have some scallions, which are for garnishes later. Now with this, it is pretty much everything ready for the stir fry.
Just to let you know that Dr. Delish Clare will be speaking in the seminar.
That tofu is perfect now. Now, with everything being ready here, I've had this wok on quite a high heat. I'm going to turn up this heat now, because with the stir fry, you want to do it in quite a high heat in a short time, as opposed to the other way around. It's a fast dish, not a slow cooking dish. Splash of oil. I am again using sunflower at home, or if you can eat sesame, by all means do. It's a very good flavor in this brand. It's widely available. Toasted sesame oil. So I'm going to start with the first stir fry, which I'm going to begin with adding the mushrooms and carrots to this. But again, this is what I've chosen the vegetables. Mushrooms are great in season right now. They're pretty much in season all year round in Ireland due to, well, the rain that we have never seen. But generally, autumn time is a time for mushrooms if you want to, forage your own, for example, which I would have done as a child. Now, I don't recommend anyone to do that if you're not 100% sure what mushrooms you're picking, because they can have dire consequences. So the first one I'm going to make is a tofu stir fry, ginger garlic, with the courgette noodles. And it's also going to have some of the green veg, some of the peppers into it as well. I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes. And the reason I'm not putting the ginger and the garlic in the beginning is that they tend to burn a little bit if they're cooked for too long. Therefore, if you fry everything for a little bit, you can toss it in towards the end, the flavor will be a little bit more intense, and you will guarantee yourself to not getting the horrible flavor of burnt garlic, because there's very few things that I dislike as much as the taste of burnt garlic. That's why I'm not throwing it in quite yet. So now this is fried for a minute. I'm going to add some of the peppers. About half, since I'm making 2 different batches here. Now is a good time for this garlic and ginger as well. Tofu. I'm not adding all of this because the wok is not quite big enough to handle all of the ingredients. I mean, at home, often, I would, for example, use, I buy the main brands of sweet chili sauce. They do contain sugar, naturally, because that's a sweetener in them, so I won't use them here. But I mean, if for family home cooking on a weekday, I usually think that time is what's of essence. So therefore, I take the shortcuts that are readily available to me and others. Then I'm adding a splash of tamari. A dash of sweetener. And this is going to cook again for a minute or 2 before I add the green vegetables and the courgette noodles. And then it is ready. That's very good. Yeah. Now I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope you like the cake. Yeah. So a lot of these things, the trick is, what I think is not to worry about food. Because for me, for example, people have told me that they're not looking forward to ever inviting me for dinner because I work as a chef. Well, I'm so used to making the food that just the fact that someone else is making it for me makes me enjoy it more. Coffee it's the same with the coffee and tea. They taste better when somebody else makes it, it's not yourself. And I do think that that's quite an important thing when it comes to food in a home environment. Adding the green vegetables to that. So this one is going to be ready in a couple of minutes after I added the courgette noodles. Now they are very thin. These can be eaten raw as they are. You don't have to worry about them being undercooked. There's nothing with them that could harm you in any way. They also, as I said, they make a lovely salad, some toasted nuts, chopped basil, chopped cherry tomatoes, and a good squeeze of lemon on top of it, a pinch of salt, and a handful of chopped basil leaves into that, and you have done a salad in 5 minutes. That, you know, when I got my courgettes growing in my back garden this year, and I can explain to the kids that we made a whole salad coming from, apart from the nuts, everything came from our own back garden. I mean, it's a good way, you know, that they don't think that food comes from the supermarket, that it actually grows out of the ground. It's a good thing for kids to learn. And you make it in a salad like that, you make in 10 minutes, 15 at the most. So while that has another minute or two to cook, stir fry is pretty much ready. I'm just going to give it another stir. I'm going to decant this into a bowl, and then we're going to be serving this out as well. So this is vegetable and tofu stir fry with courgette noodles. Very simple, very quick. I personally find it very enjoyable. I even get my 3-year-old daughter to eat this. And as we all know, getting small children to eat anything can be a challenge in itself. Normally in my house they appear like they've read too much Gandhi, because first they hunger strike and then a civil disobedience coming out of it. So yeah, so we have these ready here now. If you please want to come up and have a sample of the first ones. That is now made with tofu and courgette noodles.